on to the analyst desk ahead of Fnatic versus SK Gaming. We have a bit of a delay because players reported issues in Champion Select, but we are remaking now. So hopefully we should get into that game in just a few minutes, and that does give me a chance to set up this matchup with my analysts. So let's start on the side of Fnatic, and this is cool because we haven't heard LS talk about these two teams yet. Last week, of course, they beat G2 in that match of the week, LS, and they still have that signature lion/aggressive style, Fnatic. How do you think they're evolving as the split goes on?
I mean, I feel like this iteration of Fnatic right now, it's obviously a lot more coin flippy and Nemesis there to really hold the chains back on the Lions inside the den right now. And that's really the best way to describe their play, because they constantly opt into really high variance situations. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't. They managed to take down G2 last week. They're going to be the heavy favorites here coming up against SK. And one of the interesting things Fnatic is doing, though, is the draft diversity. Obviously, utilizing things like Aurelia and Evelynn. Stuff like that is pretty cool. And I'm curious if we'll get any more diversity here in this week.
And the thing I like about Fnatic is they've got the staple in Bwipo and Hylissang. I mean, these two players are world finalists. I think that they're really, really good pillars for Fnatic to build off of. Selfmade's been a huge addition to the team over the last few years and slots in really well with them, especially players like Hylissang, who him and Selfmade have matched so well together. So I'm not too worried for Fnatic because Nisqy and Upset coming in with these two pillars around them and this really, really good jungler and Selfmade, they can take their time to grow. And I think you can see that through Fnatic through week 1, 2, 3, and 4. As week 1, they're just way too overly aggressive. Week 2 as well, 50 kills a game, and now they're a lot more calm, a lot more controlled. Their drafts are very solid, and I think their gameplay as well has just been really impressive.
What do you think have been the biggest changes, and what would you like to see them focus on, LS?
I feel like coming into this week, I'm most interested in how Fnatic are going to go about the draft. I mean, when you think about what is going on with SK right now, it feels like their jungler is sort of playing solo queue and inside of a competitive game. It feels really weird there. And then also their mid laner, I mean, his name's Blue, but it should be red because he does a whole lot of dying, and it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of impact there. So I'm not so sure how SK is going to manage to actually win this one, especially if you take a look at some of their wins that they have got this split. It's been pretty messy, and I don't expect them to actually be able to win a mechanical brawl against Fnatic in this series.
I love the honesty in terms of your analysis. I'm going to turn it a bit on the positive because I'm actually quite excited for SK. In fact, last week in week 3, they were the best early game team in the league. Now, of course, we had some outliers, like XL had a bad early game, but still went 2-0 and stuff like that. But they showed good and aggressive things. TynX already is the only player who hasn't died pre-15 minutes yet. Just to say that there are positives, I think, for SK, but I understand how in an analytical mind, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what's going right.
Yeah, and I think if you look at TynX's career through the last 2 years in EU Masters both times, he is a very selfish player. We saw it so many times. Things like the Graves when he was on teams like LDLC, he would just run mid, take a wave, take all the jungle camps while objectives are up. So I can see where Alice is coming from. He is a very solo queue oriented player. He's very, very selfish.
I mean, Selfmade's like that as well, and he's made a career of
Yeah,
himself.
so I think TynX, as he progresses and learns and grows, I think this team can get stronger. But for me, I think Treatz is the almost MVP of this team for me, just because of the amount of shot calling and playmaking he's doing for SK and the amount of diversity he's adding. So I think that even on games like Thresh, he's flashing in, hitting hooks and starting the engages. In the 2v2s, you can see here, he turns it onto Mad Lions, although Mad Lions' aggression in 2v2s has been quite a bit too much recently. I think that Treatz punishes it super well, gets the first kill, and as the game progresses, he just keeps finding these engages on Jarvan. And for me, he was for sure the MVP in this game and one of the best looking supports at this stage of the split.
Do you agree, LS, about Treatz' level so far and what he's bringing?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I mean, I've thought Treatz has been really, really well for quite a long time. And I mean, we're finally getting to see it now in Europe. We didn't get to see it in Worlds, and unable to be held back anymore by Doublelift, he really is showing that he's doing a pretty good job so far, as he's one of the shining forces right now on SK.
Yeah, I feel like the whole SK roster is just put them on the LEC. I want to see how well they do. TynX has been in the national leagues for so long. Treatz was sitting on TSM for so long, and everyone was telling them to put Treatz in. They never happened. So these two players definitely shining. But like I said, I think their biggest weak points right now is Blue, aka Red to LS.
So how can they then make up for that and kind of have a band-aid solution? Because as said, they're going to be up against a Fnatic that can be very creative in draft and puts the pedal to the metal the other way around?
Metal.
Wait, no.
No, pedal to the middle.
Yes, it was correct. My idioms, they're always hard. So I hear we have to toss. So unfortunately, we can't go.
Picks and bans already.
We can't go deeper into crazy idioms and crazy analysis, but we'll get some more for you later and tomorrow. We are ready for picks and bans, so let's head over to our casters.
Welcome to Picks and Bans, where we put the metal to the pedal and we put the pedal to the metal at the same time. We do both simultaneously.
We're blacksmiths.
I have been playing a lot of Valheim. You can be a blacksmith
Does
in that
look
game.
cool.
It's a great game.
But you didn't invite me, which apparently it's like a cooperative friendly sort of thing where you can invite your friends to play, you know, like friends where you can do stuff with other people as friends.
Yeah, there's one key word there that should enlighten you as to the situation. Let's get on into the action though. Fnatic versus SK.
Oh, we got 15 seconds more of this awkward.
It's like a first date where you say something really awkward, you don't just sit there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Dramatic music, spotlights, we're getting ready. Fnatic versus SK.
Let's go! We're still friends, right?
It's dramatic.
And into the draft we go. SK on the blue side, Fnatic on the red. Of course, Fnatic coming off a big win against G2 last week. SK Gaming continuing to look for some of those wins in the middle of the pack. No real surprises so far with the bans here. Vedius, Udyr, Thresh, Kalista, and Twisted Fate have been taken out of contention.
So, for those unaware, Kalista is a pretty targeted ban towards Jezu. Of course, considered quite strong right now as well, but Olaf also being taken off the board. Bit of a surprise there. Perhaps Fnatic still afraid of the champion, even after the nerfs and the Gore Drinker nerfs. But it should come as no surprise that Kai'Sa will be locked in. We imagine that an Azir will follow. Yes, everyone, we are in that meta. We tend to follow this cycle. Just be grateful that come summer, Azir should be gone. But for the now, it will be likely an Azir on one of these two sides. But of course, we've heard already from the analyst desk, Rell considered one of the strongest supports in the game right now. Medic, I know you've been abusing her in solo queue a fair amount.
I've been utilizing her strengths
to
climb up the ranks, I'll be honest. And obviously taking away from Treatz, who is playing incredibly well himself, and from the Kai'Sa Rell combo. Makes a lot of sense. Wow. I do like the aggression coming out from the Fnatic bottom lane.
Yes. That is a very powerful 2 versus 2. Of course, the Samira nerfs have not come through quite yet. We are on 11.3, but on 11.4, I will be surprised if we still see her in pro play.
We'll talk a little bit about that 2v2 bot lane when we get on into the game, Vedius, because I have played a bit of Samira Rell, and there's some pretty cool things you can do. Azir, there is the lock that you were talking about. Good prediction, just on the wrong side of the rift, and there's the Alistar as well. Immediately, Fnatic say, well, we'll take Lillia, we'll round out our jungle and bot lane, and now we'll see what they decide to ban. Of course, top laners or junglers themselves are key bans here.
So, first phase for both sides, actually pretty standard. I'm surprised that Lillia made it this far through the draft, but I think that when you're running Kai'Sa and Azir, that's already a decent amount of magic damage, so perhaps you want to go more towards the AD jungler. Graves right now is what I'm looking at for SK, and then they could potentially go for something tanky up towards the top side of the map, or maybe they're thinking of playing an AP top laner themselves, you know, something like an Ornn, maybe a Gragas tank top lane, something they can pick blind, could also be an option. With the Cho'Gath ban, SK could also be suggesting a Gangplank, or perhaps they want Fnatic to lock in the Gangplank, but we're not going to get that. We're going to get some Seraphine mid lane, it seems, from Nisqy. I'm really excited about this. I've been playing a ton of Seraphine mid lane. I think she can be really strong. I wonder if she's going to be going for the damage route, something that we've been seeing Nemesis do in solo queue, or whether we will have the LS route.
I mean, that's the dream, right?
Moonstone and staff.
You've got double Moonstone staff possibilities on the Fnatic lineup so far.
True.
With Samira, who can just hard carry any team fight. The Graves did come out there, you were talking about.
Oh! Ooh, okay, here we go. A bit of Riven for Bwipo, eh? Okay. I'm trying to remember, were the the Riven buffs at this patch, right?
I'm going to check.
The buff to
I'll be
her
honest,
E.
whenever I see Riven buffs, I ignore them because she's never played in professional play, but I'll
Yeah,
check
but
right now,
her
Betty.
E did get buffed. The cooldown got reduced on it. I just can't quite remember if it was on 11.3 or if it's planned for 11.4 or if it was even on 11.2, but Riven...
Is this patch ready?
It was this patch. Okay, so Bwipo going to be taking advantage of some of the strengths of Riven up towards the top side. Very powerful early laner. Perhaps they'll look to play towards Bwipo. We know that he loves his 1v1s, and already this split has found a number of solo deaths and solo kills. So we'll have to wait and see. Very exciting draft, though, coming from Fnatic. Very aggressive, very skirmish-focused. So very much what we've been seeing already from Fnatic this split.
They do love their kills, and we'll see if SK are ready for a little bit of a skirmish as Fnatic take on SK in our final game of the day. Betty.
Yes.
Doesn't look like anything's happening. You want a quick medic moment? You want a quick
I love
statistical
medic moments.
Riven has been played in one other region in 2021. Where was it? There's one other game of Riven in a different region.
Okay, is it major region?
World's qualifying region.
Oh, okay. So there's what? I think there's 16 of them.
Yeah, I'm just asking you to guess one, let's be honest.
Is it CIS?
No.
Was I close?
Starts with a C.
CB LOL?
CB LOL.
I thought of CB LOL first, but then I thought that was too obvious.
Do you want to know its scoreline?
Was it 0-4-1?
0-6-0.
Oh, close.
Do you want to know the really fun part of that fact?
Tell me.
Least damage to champions in the entire game, including supports.
Okay, well, I think that... Well, I didn't see the comps nor the game, so I can comment absolutely not at all on that Riven. All I can tell you is that Bwipo really likes to trade and fight. But I'm not a Riven expert, so I'm also not going to pretend to say something. What I can say is that Vladimir, not that great early laning phase. Riven, great early laning phase. So I can be pretty confident that we can expect to see a fair amount of trading from Bwipo, and already he's going to get on top of Jenax. Look at this, utilizing both the passive and the Q.
Whoa, Jenax is so low already.
Stacked the Conqueror, and yeah, Bwipo has now won the laning phase. The wave is going to be pushing against him, and it looks like that his jungler is also going to be pathing away from him, so he's going to have to be very careful in this early stage, especially with the Graves likely to path up towards the top side as well. But we will have a full clear top and a full clear... Oh no, okay, he's skipping out on the Krugs actually, my mistake. I missed that one out, but yeah, he's going to be pathing up towards the top side, so this Riven is going to have to be very, very careful of this.
I'll see if Bwipo was able to give just that little bit of respect to TynX, who is looking for those early ganks. TynX still the only player unkilled at the 15-minute mark in the entirety of the LEC, which for a jungler perhaps is a little bit surprising when we're already on our way into week 4. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, you can see Upset and Hylissang have control of the lane. They hit level 2 first, and with the wave pushing in, this CS discrepancy that we've seen built up will equalize just a little bit, but basically Treatz and Jezu can do nothing in this lane until this wave hits their tower.
Quite right. I don't think they're going to get dived, especially without a jungler in the near vicinity, but it is Hylissang.
Oh, Hylissang's just dead here. He gets the shield from jumping away, but he's going to take a tower shot. The heal has to come out. So he didn't die, but he had to invest a flash and a heal to get away.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake and great punish from Treatz. You already heard the Analysts talking about it. We've been talking about him every single week, about how this man is making a lot of the plays and is kind of the front man for SK. And once again, we saw a beautiful play from him there. Very well played from Treatz.
He's so good at finding these moments to really pick out his opposing man, and you saw Hylissang just stepping a little bit too far forward there. Nisqy clearing out the mid lane as quickly as he can. I know you've been playing a little bit of Seraphine in the mid lane. She does have relatively good wave clear as you get some points into that high note.
Early levels, her wave clear is pretty weak. Observers, if you could... Ooh, hang on a second. Upset.
He's going to use the feint there to try and escape. Has to flash as well. Treatz is going for the flash himself. Jezu wasn't following up. Wasn't quite on the same page as his support.
Yeah, I think that if Jezu had flashed for that, he probably could have gotten a kill and gone away with his life. But either way, SK, huge summoner spell advantage in the bot lane. They were at a CS deficit due to how Fnatic was setting up this 2 versus 2, but they're going to be able to mitigate a lot of that, push this wave underneath their tower, get a good reset off, and they're going to be feeling pretty happy. So huge props to the SK bot lane early on.
And we'll keep watching Treatz as the game goes on because he has been just such a stellar player for Fnatic. You can see he's got a Hex Splash basically in place here just to try and stop Hylissang from freezing the wave. Jezu stepping forward as well to do the same. Hylissang takes a little bit of a chunk underneath the tower. Now has that attract and repel back, so they know Upset is in range. And they will just be able to hold this one just outside of tower range.
Yeah, very nice freeze here from the Fnatic bot lane, because now this is just going to kill this whole wave. There's nothing that SK can do about it. They have just lost a wave of CS, and Fnatic can also likely keep this wave here until the next wave comes on through. So things so far going pretty evenly across the board. Good advantages in the bot lane for SK. And even with all the pressure up towards the top side of the map for Bwipo, Jenax actually going very even in the farm. So I think that when we look at the comps holistically, SK do have a pretty significant scaling advantage. I think that this comp from Fnatic is going to get harder to play as the game goes on because they don't really have a lot of backline threat unless the Riven can get a good flank off onto the Azir. Has the flash available as well, just because of how many disengage tools he's going to have with an Azir there, with the ultimate from the Azir as well, is going to make things difficult for Fnatic the longer the game goes on. So they definitely need to be finding these advantages early on, and they've already found an advantage bot. Let's see if they can find any other advantages. The Selfmade now made his way bot lane to push out this wave.
Just going to shove it out for the moment. I want to talk a little bit about that backline threat idea because it's a bit strange when you play Samira Rell because the Samira can actually be the one diving in and trying to threaten the backline herself. If you put up the Blade Whirl and then you dash into the opponents, there's a lot of projectiles on the SK side that are just going to be totally negated. Unless Treatz is in the right position, that Samira can get on the backline pretty easily by herself as we see some damage coming down here. Double Steep's going to land. Treatz trying to get away, but you can see he's already first blooded and Upset dives onto the backline. Exhaust comes down there. TynX though caught out and the rest of Fnatic are coming in for the fight. Blue takes down Hylissang. Bwipo trying to use the damage that he can from that broken sword to cut through Blue. Doesn't quite have enough, but the rest of Fnatic are on their way. A double for Bwipo. Jenax, no place to go, no way to escape, and it's 3 quick kills for Fnatic in the river.
Yep, this is what we come to expect from a Fnatic game. Already all 5 members from both teams contesting this bottom first Drake. Beautiful stuff, but it is Fnatic that ends up coming out on top, and a clutch level up to 6 from Selfmade, I feel, because at the start of that fight he was actually level 5. Let's have a look back and see. Oh no, so he is level 6 from the very start of the fight. I saw him go bot lane, he was level 5, and then he gets that level up, but because he's able to get this double sleep off, it's actually really impactful, buying enough time for Samira to be able to reposition and then re-engage. Uses the double dash, the exhaust comes through, but then the TP flank from Bwipo is where things really start to go heavily in the favor of Fnatic, because TynX is just zoned away from the fight. Now they find themselves at a numbers disadvantage. And if he could have stayed in the fight, maybe there's a world where SK can actually win out on this, but because they get separated, Fnatic end up coming up clutch. So big team fight win for Fnatic. You can see the Seraphine early damage, not that strong, but Lillia with the spammable Q and the Riven with the ultimate as well, really coming out clutch. This is exactly the type of early game fight that Fnatic would want.
I mean, Bwipo did as much damage as the top side of SK's map combined. Like, he's pretty off the charts already on this Riven. He's got himself a Caulfield's Warhammer alongside those Ionian Boots of Lucidity. And a part of that 1,000 gold lead is sitting on his shoulders. You can see him trying to get some vision in here. But you said it in the fight, Vedi. This is the Fnatic that we know and love from 2021. They've become a lot more bloody. That CK per M is combined kills a minute. How many kills Fnatic and their opponents get in their games per minute? The kills, very high as well, 6 at 15. But also Fnatic are dying a little bit more in the early game than they used to.
We wanted to show that Fnatic as a team has always been quite aggressive. They were an aggressive team last year. They were one of the bloodiest teams in the LEC alongside Mad and G2. But this year, that aggression seems to have increased with the introduction of Upset and Nisqy. You know, there has been that debate around, was Reckless and Nemesis kind of that, whoa, let's back off, no, that kind of like brake pedal.
Have you taken the brakes off the train and now it's just going where it's going?
And, you know, there was some debate around how Fnatic is doing. Of course, 3 losses, but they seem to be finding their form. They seem to be getting more comfortable in this skirmish style, and they've drafted a composition that is designed for skirmishing, and so far they are reaping the benefits of that, as Selfmade now pathing towards the bot side will look to steal away the Krugs, take advantage of the fact that Graves is doing the Rift Hold, and now Bwipo committing all into Jenax.
Yeah, Jenax really can't escape from this too easily. Hemoplague is down. You can see that healing comes back to the Vladimir, but Bwipo is able to force him out just by himself. And now Fnatic, this is 2 waves to the tower. Hylissang flashing in, goes in with a crash down, knocked back by the Alistar. Losing Lullaby is going to get the sleep, but Alistar will flash underneath the tower and just about escape. However, it's another wave of minions dying to this bot lane tower. It's another plate in the back pocket of Upset, and it's just more and more gold being taken away from Jezu and funneled into Upset.
Certainly is. Oh, and I think that Jezu at this point thinks, surely I can come and get the farm now, but nope. No, he cannot. More plates are going to be taken. Finally, TynX is on his way down to the bot lane. But I think too little, too late. The damage has already been done. Bwipo once again looking for a trade in the top lane.
Yeah, the key burst stun is working out. Jenax, though, has that Sanguine Rush built up. Bwipo's going to try and go back in. Doesn't have the ultimate available. Lands the knock up onto Jenax, stunned underneath the tower. Bwipo very low here. Jenax could look for the flash forward, but of course Bwipo can just Valor, get that shield up. The cooldown reduced on this patch, as we mentioned in Pick and Ban.
Of course, the healing going to come through for Jenax means that he's going to win the sustained war, but Bwipo is sticking around as Selfmade has joined the fray.
Selfmade coming in from the side, looking for the damage, and Jenax, even with the Sanguine Pool, really can't get away. Bwipo gets himself an assist, and Selfmade gets himself the kill.
Wow, so Jenax, he just wanted to push the wave out, but Selfmade seems to be everywhere on the map where his team needs him right now, helping out the bot side secure 4 tower plates, covering his top laner. Meanwhile, Nisqy just farming away in the mid. Selfmade all over the map right now, having such a huge impact. Look, the gold, he has as much gold as his AD carry does. 202, 86 CS. Just under 11 minutes into the game, Selfmade is definitely having quite the game as Bwipo greeds, but that is he is very greedy right now.
Talk about Vedius. Knows where the enemy jungler is, saw him mid lane.
I mean, it's still greedy.
It's still Bwipo. Oh, that was even more greedy, just diving back underneath the tower. He will walk his way home now, 2-0-2 with that bounty on his head. SK trying to do something about the mid lane.
So the clever thing about what he just did is because of where he killed the wave, and because this wave crashes underneath the tower, I think he'll actually reset in time to be able to... Oh, actually, he stuck around. I think he was waiting for a little bit more gold, but if he had gotten back and then immediately left, I think he actually would have made it in time to arrive at the wave. And to be fair, he is arriving on a cannon minion wave as well, so I call it greed. I actually think it was calculated greed, so props to Bwipo, recognizing the limits of how long he could actually stay and get as much as he could, because he's not going to lose much off the back of this.
I will say a lot of greed is calculated, it's just sometimes the maths isn't that good. Sometimes you know you're being greedy, like you've done it before, you're like, I'm just going to greed for this wave as Bwipo tries to greed for a kill. In the mid lane, Jenax, in the top lane, sorry, Jenax forced back once again. You can see TynX on his way up, still unkilled at the 15-minute mark as Bwipo flashes forward! The broken blade has been reforged and TynX could do nothing about it. Bwipo able just to walk his way away. TynX comes in to clear out the wave.
Yeah, that is a Riven solo kill. We've all been there. We've all experienced it, and Jenax will be at the hands of Bwipo once again. Flash committed, Nisqy has the support from Hylissang, as now supports have made their way into the mid lane.
There were just both Hex flashes there from Treatz and Hylissang, and you can see Fnatic trying to gain this mid prio. Upset has a free wave to himself in the bottom lane.
Everything right now.
Selfmade 3 levels up blue, looking for flank position here. Could go in with the Emperor's Divide. Hylissang and Nisqy caught out just a little bit. TynX still in the fight. Hylissang goes forward with a crash down, doesn't really have too much. He hasn't even got a track repel on, he is already dead. Bwipo underneath the tower in the top lane, gonna get some extra damage down. As you can see, Jenax trying to fight him. Nisqy continues in the fight in the bottom lane. Upset was exhausted. Jezu on the chase. Treatz doesn't have a flash but has the Hex. And here's the killer instinct in from Jezu. Kills off Nisqy. Fnatic forced away from the river fight.
And this time it is Fnatic who over-aggress, and SK are quick to punish. They realize that Hylissang dives in without any real range. They're able to keep at arm's length and avoid his hard commitment onto that fight. They're able to just dance around, buy their time, wait for Fnatic to burn all those cooldowns. They're actually able to turn it around in their favor. 3 kills now sit on Jezu. He's going to be able to push in this bot wave. Let's see if he can grab a turret plate, get a little bit more gold into his back pocket. And on top of that, Blue and the Rift Herald picking up a lot of plates in mid lane as well. So SK really benefited off that play, really slowed down the momentum of Fnatic.
Jezu really needs that gold as well. 30 CS down right now. He's got those extra kills, so that will give him that little bit more gold.
Nice.
Here comes the fight in the bottom lane as TPs are used. Hylissang with the eject repel will get a stun, flashes away across the wall. Bwipo teleporting in, looking for the fight himself. Wind slash available, and Jezu is shut down. All that gold funneled straight back into the Riven. Diving on the back line is Selfmade. Treatz trying to get a stun here onto Hylissang. Will get it, but he is now done for as it's a double for Bwipo. And Fnatic TP into the bottom lane.
Yeah, see, this is the problem, SK. The last fight, Bwipo wasn't in it. This fight, though, he had his TP and he was primed and ready to get involved in the action. He has 7k total gold right now. He's sitting on 1400. He's extremely fed. Level 11 already. And if he is able to join the fray, then it is only a matter of time before SK fall apart. So let's have a look back at how this fight went. So wrong for SK. Initially, they get a great trade onto Hylissang. He re-engages. He does not have his ultimate available, but he gets the initial stun. But then, of course, the TP comes through from Bwipo, and his eyes are immediately on to Jezu, who does not have ultimate. Does have flash, but why bother wasting it? Because where's he going to flash to? Selfmade then flashes in, forces the flash out from Blue on the backside as well. He is forced to use his Onyas, but he's been able to split up SK successfully as the rest of Fnatic come in for the cleanup on the back end.
And the thing is, Vedi, you said there's scaling available for SK, but Fnatic are letting them get there. 4,000 gold lead at the 15-minute mark. Bwipo out damaging once again almost the entire enemy team as Hylissang dives the tower in the top lane. Hasn't taken aggro yet, now he will. Is changed back over to Upset, who will take out the tower himself. Treat's gonna flash away as Selfmade and Bwipo were coming in from the side, looking for a little bit of a Barney in the top lane. Rift Herald available for Fnatic if they want it. Dragon up in a minute and a half. We have a 22-minute Infernal Soul, possibly, for this snowballing Fnatic team. You've got Moonstone complete, you've got Gore Drinker complete, you've got fights happening once again in the mid lane as Selfmade goes in. There's the encore. Do we want more? That's what Bwipo was waiting for as he gets another kill. 6-0-2 on the Riven.
And Fnatic just continue to find these picks. Blue thought that he'd made it to safety, but of course, the extended range of Seraphine's ultimate when it goes through his allies, or her allies rather, make it so that Fnatic are able to land that ulti, find themselves another pick, and of course, does go on to Bwipo's Riven. 6-0-2. The Gore Drinker fully completed along with the Corefield's Warhammer. They're waiting for the next Drake to spawn, but they're going to quickly go back to base, reset, replenish, spend some of that money. The Hydra is now finished at 16 minutes.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah. So if we just like compare the top lane items, Vlad doesn't have any.
Yeah, Vlad's a support.
And Bwipo has 2.
A player of a normal game of League of Legends.
Yeah, this is like every solo queue player's worst nightmare. At this point, your jungler would be flaming top diff, you know, like, why don't I ever have, why is my Riven never this strong, you know? Just the classics.
I mean, Jenax is ahead of the supports, though, so... Not the worst in the game as Fnatic look down towards the bottom lane and Jenax may be on the receiving end of just a little bit of hurt here once again. Bwipo upset and Hylissang. 3-man wrecking crew. Jenax going to try and heal himself back up. Tides of Blood comes out, but Upset will still secure the kill.
He's not even that overextended. That's the greatest thing about
He was by like his tier 2 in the bottom lane.
Well, I would say he was in between.
Yeah, he was in between tier 2, tier 1, yeah.
But Fnatic, just great use of the vision. And like, of course, it's still an overextension from him. He should realize that the Drake is up and Fnatic are going to head straight towards that. So it's pretty obvious what part of the map Fnatic is going to be on. But one of the things I will say about Fnatic is that even when they've been able to find a lot of early advantages with their skirmishing, they've still actually kind of gotten themselves into a lot of bad situations. They've overforced, they've dived towers, they've kind of disrespected their opponents in a lot of their skirmishing, and they've allowed teams that have better scaling comps to actually come back into the game. Mad was a great example of one where Mad got an early lead. Fnatic then were able to claw it back with a lot of great map movements, picks, fights, but then they gave it away because they took one too many bad fights. And I think that what we're seeing from Fnatic is honestly a cleaner style, even though it's very bloody, it's very aggressive, it is very snowbally because of how strong Bwipo is. I think that a lot of their fights are calculated, they're punishing these oversteps from SK.
Definitely.
And I think that we are starting to see a little bit more of the kind of the new version of this Fnatic roster, but a cleaner style from what we've been seeing compared to previous weeks.
Here's Bwipo looking for the flank, can't quite get in as Fnatic group up 5 players strong in the mid lane for a little bit more pressure. Still that 5,000 gold lead for them, 4 minutes on the Infernal Soul, and you can see Fnatic, as you say, they the thing about it is it's not just we will force a fight at every opportunity to force a fight. It's we look for the fight mid lane, we didn't find the flank we wanted, we didn't get the turret down, let's send Bwipo up into top lane, let's send our team down into bot lane, get the wave pressure, get them pushed in, and then once again we can look to pressure towards this mid.
2 weeks ago, we probably would have seen Fnatic.
Yeah, Bwipo would have dived there, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, of course. So huge credit to Fnatic, and of course, SK is still struggling right now. If they can somehow kind of, you know, cauterize the bleeding, is that what you do if you're bleeding a lot?
Yeah, you could use diathermy. It sort of burns the wound as it opens up, and you can see Treatz trying to put a little bit of gauze on this as well, but he is a little bit too overstep. The wound gapes, as you can see Fnatic looking for more fights in the bottom lane. The key burst, the Valor, the chase. To me, says Bwipo to TynX. He goes back down to the fountain. The encore hits onto Jezu, and no degree of cautery is going to save that, Vedius.
No, it certainly is not. Fnatic are just dismembering SK right now, and every opportunity they are looking to hack and slash, and they've gotten themselves another 3 kills. They've gotten themselves the bot tier 2. And while Blue tried to get something back on the map, unfortunately, it is just not enough. So Fnatic, look at this vision line that they've been able to extend all the way down here. They have so much control. Like, this is not where vision is supposed to be. Like, it's just not. But Fnatic, they know how far ahead they are. They know how much control they have over the map, and they're looking to keep that snowball going. So this is just a matter of Fnatic saying, you know what, this part of the map now belongs to us. You do not have permission to enter. Treatz entered an area of the map that doesn't belong to him, and Fnatic immediately saying, there's no trespassing allowed.
Yeah, I mean, the TP coming in as well from Bwipo just to try and force the action just that little bit quicker. He is so strong, 3 levels up over TynX, 3 levels up over Jezu, and you can see, like, Bwipo, he doesn't really get any help for this. He's just chasing them down by himself.
Oh, and huge props to Bwipo, of course. At the very beginning of the split, he was struggling. There was a lot of criticism thrown his way, over-aggression, but last week, after his performance against G2, he talked about how that was a really important game for him to prove that they didn't need Reckless. They could still perform at the top of LEC, and now we're seeing him pick Comfort. We often see him pick things like the Rengar. We see him pick the Pantheon. He's no stranger to aggressive picks, but he makes them work.
Looks like he's looking for a flank once again here, getting in behind the turret.
Jenax does have the TP, so can answer. Bwipo trying to get ahead of the play, pushes top, starts grouping up with his team.
They're going for that mid lane pressure. Blue still here, a couple of minions cleared out, but Blue, is it 2 items? The Andrew's Anguish and the Morello Nomicon complete on this Azir. Of course, Morello even more powerful into Moonstones, even more powerful into Immortal Shield Bows. As a Rifthold charges in the top lane, bottom lane, TynX was there a little while ago. So that is the 2nd tower of the game for SK. And I want to come back to that point about Fnatic's improvement over the last few weeks, their win against G2, because when you look at their position generally in the standings, I think there was a question as to like sort of where Fnatic would end up at the end of the first half of the season, because they are sitting middle of the pack at best. Rogue, of course, right near the top, G2 up there as well. But now that we see this new evolution of Fnatic, I think the expectation has to be they start rising and challenging the G2s and the Rogues over the next few weeks.
I mean, for sure, if G2 lose to Rogue tomorrow and Fnatic, they're likely to get this win. They're able to beat XL tomorrow. They will be tied with G2 in the standings, kind of showcasing that it seems that it's a bit more of a 3-horse race here in Europe. Of course, with the dark horse of Schalke still lingering behind.
Here goes Treatz looking for a fight, trying to get onto Bwipo, but immediately Bwipo dives onto the back line, and the charm hits so many! Upset pulls the trigger, and it's Inferno in the middle of the fight as 3 quickly fall. Upset still on the chase. There's another Ultima. Just stack them up. Stack up the kills. Stack up the wins for Fnatic. It's going to be 3 in a row as they look for more underneath this tower. Hylissang takes a couple too many tower shots, but will survive. And Fnatic get all 5 players out alive.
Oh wow, cleanly fought from Fnatic. It looked like Bwipo was going to drop, but the healing plus the stopwatch coming in clutch, along with that huge charm off the back of Nisqy, allows Fnatic to win. And now they want to take it all. They're looking to get themselves. I think Selfmade can kill Blue, by the way. I'm actually quite confident.
He definitely can if Hylissang joins the fray. Oh, Selfmade!
Hang on a second, I was wrong. Blue able to get.
I think Hylissang could kill Blue. I've seen what Rell can do in this sort of situation.
I don't think he can.
The only issue is you don't have an attract repel target.
Oh, the sad P comes out as well.
I didn't realize that Hylissang was a support.
Yeah.
So the thing with Rell is if you have an attract repel target there, you get the kill because you just stun them. You jump on them, you stun them immediately. But of course, no Fnatic teammate there to help Hylissang after the fact.
So let's have a look back at this fight. The stun comes through, doesn't really stun anyone, but then that 3-man charm, because TynX is just barely able to dodge out from it. But look at all this damage coming out from Upset, hitting multiple members. Clearly knows his priorities as he takes out Jezu, and then TynX and Blue on the back line. If he was able to get that kill onto Blue, that would have been a soul. So the fact that he's able to stay alive there really keeps SK at least slightly still in this game. But of course, right now with their situation, it is rather dire.
That combo of the magnet, so the key burst, the stun from the Riven, the magnet storm, and the Inferno trigger with an encore, like,
Yep.
that is putting a little bit of dark chocolate in your chili con carne levels of good. That is absolutely beautiful. As Fnatic now, with the Baron buff, will push in the mid lane, as you say, a little bit short on the soul, 3.5 minutes before they can look to claim that, but Bwipo still unkilled, now has the Sterex, Gore Drinker, and the Ravenous Hydra. Moonstone Staff of Flowing Water complete on Nisqy. Only 2 items on Upset, which is slightly surprising considering how fed he is this game.
I think the craziest thing about this is Bwipo has been involved in 15 of the 17 kills. Yeah. Right? There have only been 2 kills that he has not contributed to, which just goes to show how a top laner can use their advantage across the map. So huge props to Bwipo. He knew the matchup. He knew he could win it. He got a solo kill. He's had great, very impactful TPs. So huge props to him. He's definitely had a really great last few weeks.
Oh, okay. Blue messes up the jump across the wall. There's the attract repel. Stun available. Upset going to try and do more damage. Hylissang diving forward. The ignite is ticking. Jezu on his way as well, though. And Hylissang can't really chase too much here. Inferno trigger coming out from Upset. Jezu is dead. Through an exhaust. He just twirls his way to victory. As
spin to win, baby. Spin to win.
2 more. Bwipo dives in. The broken blade. Onto TynX. And the wind slash is enough.
Yes, yes it is. That is 3 quick kills for Fnatic. Of course, they still have the Baron buff. They're likely looking to break the base. You can also see Upset pushing up top. And oh, it wouldn't be a Fnatic game if Selfmade wasn't trolling.
Tank the towers again, mate.
Yeah.
That clip still lives rent-free in my head. Like just Udyr running around an inhibitor tower for no apparent reason. Sad B comes out from Treatz, Jenax, seeing the funny side of it all. And as Vedius shows us on our screen, which isn't working.
Oh no, it is. I'm just kind of doing like a visual representation of SK's base right now. Everything is just
you have Treatz in the middle, just like this is fine. This is fine.
Yeah, no, I have that too. Look, this is fine. This is SK right now.
I mean, the thing for SK is like this is just Fnatic playing very well, and SK have made a few mistakes. You know, Jenax in the top lane getting caught out for the 1v1 kill early on, just continually getting killed. But they have had a good first half of this season so far. Like they'll be sitting at 3 and 5. A couple of wins behind perhaps where they'd want to be, but
who did they play tomorrow?
I will check quickly. They play Vitality tomorrow, so maybe 4 and 5.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so I would say that SK rather, considering how young their roster is, to finish the first half of the split 4 and 5, really not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Especially if they can make improvements moving into the second half. Like at the end of the day, your goal as a brand new roster is to qualify for playoffs.
Yeah.
And so if you can, that's where obviously the real challenge will start. But let's see how much progress they can make as they move into the second half.
8 wins historically has got you into playoffs. 7 wins on 1 or 2 occasions over the last few years has managed to get you there. Anything less than that, You are on the outside looking in. We have had times when it's been 9 wins to make it into playoffs. Rare occasions, but we'll see as the split develops with teams being so close near the top. The expectation is that it will be a few less wins than normal because we don't have like one team really standing out above the rest as of yet. Hylissang's going to clear out this ward. Blue, Treatz, and TynX are just on the other side, going to try and do what they can. Hylissang dismounting for the little shield it gives you. And of course, it's on a very short cooldown, so he can just remount whenever he wants and try and see if they can catch out SK in their jungle. Really, you're waiting the 19 seconds for the Infernal Soul here, Vedius. That's all you need to do as Fnatic.
Keeping the waves pushed in as well. All the items basically done. Looks like that Nisqy picked up his Magi quite late, not going to have any stacks in that, or they could just engage.
This comes down as the Magnet Storm. Treatz trying to dive onto the backline. Hylissang's already dead, and Treatz did such a good job. The Encore hits onto 3. Bwipo dives in, and the Blade of the Exile, combined with Dante's Inferno Trigger, is enough to pick up all 4 players. One last for Nisqy as he picks up the ace. TP from Bwipo to the mid lane for some darn reason. The wave was on its way here anyway, but I appreciate the support, the moral support for the minions as Bwipo escorts this super minion in and Fnatic look for the win.
The goal difference is just too big. Fnatic bring their wombo combo together and obliterate SK as they look to get themselves another big win and a chance at the top of the standings.
On the back of a Blade of the Exile, Bwipo's Riven carries Fnatic to victory.
11, 0, and 9 on the Riven. 20 of the 25 kills he was involved in. A very impressive performance from the top laner of Fnatic. Once again, after a huge Volibear performance last week, moving into this week as well. Definitely feels like the Bwipo is starting to feel it. Fnatic seem to be getting into the rhythm of the split now, and they have a clear identity that they're finding a lot of success with.
And my mind just harks back to Yamato's tweet after the Mad Lions game where he was like, that's what I want my team to do. I want them to be skirmish heavy. I want them to take these fights. Even if they ended up losing, it is still a good sign for Fnatic, and that sign seems to be continuing to grow is the word I was looking for, the sentence I was looking for there. SK, on the other hand, of course, we talked a little bit about it at the end of the game. They will want to make a few improvements, but still in a good spot coming into the second half of the season. You guys can vote for your Kia player of the game at LEC on Twitter. Bwipo, Selfmade, Upset are your options. Come on, guys. It was his first ever Riven of the LEC. The last time we saw a Riven top win was like Huni in 2015. Actually, no, I think FLICKR won with it between then, but Huni was the last Fnatic player to play Riven. 2015, he won. Vote for the guy you know what you want to vote for. We'll soon hear from Nisqy before Treatz joins us in the post-game lobby. Don't go anywhere. They're playing me off.
Systems are overloading. We can't risk another game.
We need to take a break and regroup.
We're starting to lose our mind. Captain, we cannot go back to Elo Hell. Last time it took us months to get out of it.
Initiate break protocol.
Hurry up!
Yes! Yes! I did it! We did it! We did it!
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
welcome back to the LEC after our last game of the day. Fnatic 10 take down SK Gaming, and Nisqy, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me for this interview.
Always good having you. I want to talk about the draft first because you tried a lot of stuff here, as you do lately with Fnatic. Riven on the top lane, Seraphine on the mid lane. Explain what you had in mind here.
I mean, we've played that a lot, the Riven, and it looked good, and we wanted it today, so we just picked it, you know. And for me, Seraphine, I feel like I'm still not sure if she's good or not, so I'm just trying it, and it looked okay today, so maybe we'll see her more in the future.
Okay, I had a question about Seraphine actually, because it's the first time we see this pick in the LEC mid lane. We tried to bring it in the LCK, it was not so successful. It's a pick that we see a lot in the LPL though. What do you think about the champion? You said you didn't really know, but I know we can flex it in 3 lanes. What kind of matchup is it good against in mid?
I mean, of course, I don't want to say everything I know with the champion as well, but
Yeah.
I think it's situational. Like, if you need a support mid and you have carries, then it's playable, you know. It also has a lot of, I mean, it has some counters as well, which is kind of hard to play against, but I feel like I just pick it whenever I want, and people don't really know, right now at least, because no one plays it in Europe, I believe. So for me, I just pick it when I want, and it's very annoying to play against. That's also one thing that I like about the champion as well. It kind of reminds me of Zoe,
Yeah.
in a way.
I was about to say you're a Zoe player, so I'm really not surprised here, but okay. Let's not spill too much details about the pick. Of course, you want to keep the secrets. I want to talk about Blue, because this was a Belgian mid lane here against SK. What do you think about this new player? He entered the LEC this year. He was praised a lot. You got to play against him today. What's your take on Blue?
I mean, I think he has good mechanics. I didn't feel like it was anything special compared to the other mids. I think he probably needs some time, and then we'll see what he does in the future. But he seems okay, you know. Still a rookie, so I'd give him a year, and then we'll see what happens then.
I'll try to follow your steps, let's say, on the mid lane here. But Nisqy, I have a last question for you, because we talked about Fnatic a couple times, about your style, about the bloodiness. You told me a couple weeks back that you were trying to slow down on the unnecessary skirmishes and dangerous team fights, maybe. We saw a more controlled Fnatic today. Still a lot of blood, so is it your style in the end? A lot of blood in games, but still trying to keep it controlled.
I'd say we make less random plays than we did in the past weeks, for sure. Like, we're getting better at it, and I feel like if there's a lot of blood, it's also because the enemies make a lot of mistakes. For example, the Dragon fight, enemy team took a fight where we kind of knew we'd win if we fought there, and my top laner was smurfing top, just solo killing, 1v2ing. So I don't know, my team just played good, you know, and I think enemy team made a lot of mistakes. That's also why it was bloody. I don't feel like we go for too many crazy plays, at least. Yeah, sometimes we take risks. It happens, but at least I think it's more controlled, and we're all aware of it, compared to before, where we're doing individual mistakes, which led us to be kind of in a chaotic game.
I agree. More controlled Fnatic here, Nisqy. Thank you so much for the interview, and good luck on your second game tomorrow.
Thank you.
And we're going to close out the day. But before that, we're going to take one last break, and we'll be back in a few minutes with PGL that you're going to see right on the screen with Caedrel, Sjokz, and Treatz. See you soon, guys.